ready to sail into a world of European wonders with Azamara Cruises. Discover our new 2025 sailings with 73 just-released itineraries from Greenland to the Faroe Islands and 13 brand new ports. Azamara will take you on a journey through remote destinations that larger ships can't access, and with our double night stays, you'll have more time to experience everything you want. Azamara Cruises, change the way you see.
This year marks the 10th anniversary of our AzAmazing evenings, each one a unique glimpse into the people, culture, and true nature of a destination. Now, we proudly bring you more choices, more discoveries, even more ways to get this close. Introducing AzAmazing Celebrations, only by Azamara.
Join Azamara's 2026 World Cruise and embark on a journey of transformative exploration. Immerse yourself in longer stays, connecting with local culture in over 35 countries. On this 155-night voyage, discover hidden gems few have encountered. Our World Cruise will forever change your perspective, offering immersive cultural experiences only a World Cruise can provide. Plan your 2026 Azamara World Cruise today.
Oh, wow. I am so excited to have you here. Hey, everybody. Hey, Sarah. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing absolutely fabulous. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you're new to the channel, I'm Walter, your independent travel agent with Where's Walter Travel, and we book cruises, land, luxury, and expedition. And every Thursday night, we'd like to bring on one of our travel partners. And tonight, it's the amazing Sarah from Azamara Cruises. I'm so excited to have you here, Sarah.
I'm excited too. I love working with you.
Oh, well, thank you. I like working with me too. I don't know if my wife likes it, but I like working with me too. Hey, folks, as always, we encourage you to bring your question to the table. Azamara is one of our amazing luxury partners. We're actually going on the Journey, which is a sister to that lovely ship that you're seeing on the screen right there, the Quest. We're going to be on her for 16 days, celebrating Christmas and New Year's. Sarah, you should come. It'd be great.
Oh my God, I so would. That'd be so much fun.
You know, get your pajamas. We'll get up on Christmas morning. We'll have cookies and waffles and all that stuff. That would just be awesome, right?
Yeah, it'd be so much fun.
So, folks, I'm going to, Sarah is the expert at Azamara. She brought a lovely presentation with her to go through, but I encourage you, jump in, ask your questions. I mean, Azamara has beautiful, lovely, smaller ships with personal service, amazing food, and of course, there are AzAmazing evenings. So anytime you have questions, go ahead, drop them in. We're going to find breaks in the conversation and get to it. But otherwise, well, Sarah, which of the four is your favorite ship? Do you have one?
I do, actually. I mean, our ships are all identical except for one venue. And so that would be the Onward, because it has the Atlas bar, which I honestly just love. It's like a speakeasy on board.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. We almost chose the Onward, but that was like a 10-night cruise, and this one was a 16. I'm like, I just want to stay on for 16 nights. So next time. All right. So, Sarah, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'll go ahead and bring your screen up so you can show these lovely people, and we're going to start a conversation about everything that Azamara has to bring. But again, please go ahead and drop your questions in the chat, and we will find time to go ahead and jump in on them. So Sarah, without further ado, I'm going to turn the screen over to you and let you get going.
Awesome. Thank you. And thanks everyone for joining in. I'm super excited to talk about Azamara. A lot of folks out there don't really know or aren't really familiar with who Azamara is. And we don't really do a lot of blast marketing. We are like a little big secret, basically. We've been a brand, a company for 15 years. So we have been around for a while. And we're known for global immersion. But before I get into Azamara, I do just want to give you a little bit of history about me, so you're kind of just not listening to a complete stranger. In the industry for 13 years. I actually spent 6 years working on board ships, and I worked on board wonderful lines like Princess and Carnival and Celebrity. So I spent 6 wonderful years on board, and the last 7 years, I've actually been corporate shoreside, and I worked along Royal Caribbean and Disney Cruise Lines. And so to be here at Azamara, truly a spectacular company. I love what I do. I'm a strategic business development manager for Azamara. So I cover all of Florida and Puerto Rico. And I get to work with people like Walter and a lot of different partners and really just make everyone know who Azamara is. So yeah, awesome. It's exciting to be here. So going into Azamara, I just want to tell you what separates us from the rest of the crowd, right? Why choose Azamara? Why consider Azamara over any other brand out there? Well, Azamara, we are the pioneers to have the most overnight stays, the most late night departures. And I'm talking 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and then the most extended destination days. So we are known a global cruise line. We travel all around the world on our 4 ships, immersive itineraries. We really want whoever sails on us to experience everything, not just spend a couple hours in port. They're going to experience it all, buy it all, do it all, taste it all. That's what we want them to do. We are constantly adding to the amount of late night departures. I mean, we're currently at 850 late nights, but it's growing because we are still able to go to new ports. I know, it's exciting.
Wow, 850 late nights? Holy crap.
I know.
I mean, and I want people to understand that means you can actually like have dinner at the port. You don't have to, oh my God, it's 5 o'clock. We got to hurry up and run back to the ship. Like
exactly.
You can take your time coming back. You can do an evening thing. That's amazing. I love that, Sarah.
Yeah, and we're more of an unrushed experience. We're more relaxed because we give you that time in port. As you said, we're not rushing back to the ship at 5 or 6 p.m. We're there until 10 p.m., 11 p.m. You're able to have those late night dinners or even that late night cocktail and enjoy the port as a local would. And then on top of the late night departures, we're doing tons of overnight stays. Again, we're the leader in overnight stays. And the great thing about this is not only are we doing a single overnight stay, we're now doubling those overnight stays. So now you have 2 days in a row in Nice or Bordeaux or somewhere in Italy.
Oh, wow.
So double overnight stays.
Wow. That's, I mean, boy, talk about just taking your time and being able, you know, it's like, okay, we don't have to choose between this or that. We can do this today. Tomorrow we'll go do that. That's cool.
Exactly. Yeah. I was just on the Onward actually end of September 30th. And we did a Nice to Barcelona and it was a France intensive. And we had an overnight in Nice and we did the first day in Nice and we stayed out till the wee hours. But then the next day we went to Monaco and we took the train and we went to Monte Carlo and saw the casino and all the grand buildings over there.
Oh, wow.
And like we can go do that because we have the time. It was pretty incredible.
Wow. So your philosophy is more, you know, the ship is basically your hotel and a means to get to the place. You're really about that destination. We want you to explore the destinations.
Exactly. We want you to explore the destinations. Now, to go even further than that, we do country intensive voyages. So that means we focus on a certain region of the world, whether that's South Africa or Greece or Japan. And every single day within that itinerary, you're going to be in a different port within that region to see as much as you can of that culture. Those are our country intensives.
Wow.
And then on top of everything else, I mean, we do offer specialty voyages, which they do change throughout the year. So every year we'll have different specialty voyages. And then one year we'll do a world cruise of basically 6 months. It's 155 days at sea.
Wow.
Then what can you always expect when cruising with us? So working on ships myself, I know the mega ships, they have to have tons of restaurants and venues because there's thousands of people on those ships. Right. Us, we're a small ship. We're 700 people on board, only 700 and 400 crew. So the fact that we're a small luxury ocean liner, we still have 5 different restaurants on board. So we have 5 places to eat, which is pretty incredible. Your drinks are included all day, every day. It's not just during dinner. It's not just during cocktail hour. There's a huge list of beers, wines, cocktails, spirits. I mean, coffees, juices, you name it, 24/7 for you. And then our tips and gratuities included. And then what really sets us apart even further is that every cruise, we actually have 2 cultural events. I'll get into that in just a little bit, but we have 2 cultural events every cruise, and that's exclusive to Azamara. Wow. And then we have self-service laundry. Our crew can do it as well, but for people who are doing those longer voyages, because that's what we do offer, our longer voyages, it's really nice to just have everything there for you. You can go wash your clothes really quick. It's a nice start. Now, because we're so small, there's never hassles. You're not rushing back to the ship. You're not waiting behind thousands of people. You're not pulling out your room key on board. That's not us. You're always just going to be an unrushed and relaxed feel. And then because we're small, we're constantly going to all these iconic destinations with the most overnights. Now, extended destination days. What are those? Basically, that's 10 hours or more in port, and every single voyage offers multiple extended destination days.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, 10 or more hours in port, multiple ports. That's just, I mean, you know, you look at a lot of these, you know, you talked about the larger ships and whatnot. They want you back on the ship so we can get dinner service going. We can get the shows going and all of that. You guys are like, if you come back for dinner, you come back for dinner. If you don't, you don't. We just go do you. I like that.
Exactly. Go do you. Now, to touch even further on the amount of overnights that we do have, or the percent that we're in port, I can't really show the other brands, but I mean, luxury brands versus deluxe brands versus us. Now, for port days, we have
Okay, everybody, take a guess. You all have to figure out. And the winner who can actually put that order together. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
You win a free cruise.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
So the amount of port days or percent that we're in port is 80%. The amount of time that we have for overnight stays, that's just 32%.
Wow.
And then with the combination of the late nights and overnights, it's a whopping 45%. So that just shows you that we truly do. We are the leaders in spending the most time in port. Other brands, they rave about, I don't know, their food, because that's what they specialize in, or their amazing shore excursions. Yes, we offer all of that, but we really rave about the time spent in port.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Before you get into the cultural experiences, can we answer a couple of questions real quick?
Yeah.
I got a couple here. I'm going to bring you back up on the screen. Phil, actually, if you saw the beginning of the show with the countdown, you would have seen this, but can you talk a little bit about, because honestly, I remember when I first started cruising, golf was like a big thing, right? Now you hardly see it anymore, but you guys actually lean into golf with Perry Golf.
We do. Yeah, we have an amazing partnership with Perry Golf. Every single year, there's a handful of voyages, whether we do a partnership in Ireland, Scotland area, or even Japan, Africa, Spain. We have partnerships with Perry Golf, and they take care of everything from start to finish. They supply all the equipment, or you can bring your own and we'll store it on board. But they supply all the equipment. You have access to all the country clubs. There's competitions held throughout. There's social events. So it's a really, really great experience. They do sell out very quickly, especially our Ireland one. But it sells out, and they like to work with groups about 40 to 60 people. So it's just a phenomenal time.
It really is. And you can find them, Phil. I mean, obviously, Phil, we can hop on a chat and I can help you find them. But actually, if you go to their website, I believe Perry Golf is one of the filters, and it will bring up. I mean, you guys have a whole lineup of itineraries, and I'm talking like there's some serious golf courses that you've watched a lot of people on TV play on that you can go play on with these. They're great. Do you play golf, Sarah?
Oh my, I'm probably the worst. I'm really good at sports, but golf, for some reason, I'm so bad at
it. I'm the comic relief. When I come, I'm always the comic relief. So I'm always upfront about that. So I would embarrass myself. I would gladly drive somebody's cart on some of these courses. I would be terrified to hit a ball on some of these courses. Alex has a great question. For the overnight stays, can you get back on the ship as late as 2 o'clock in the morning?
For most ports, yeah. A lot of the ports have no curfews. There's some ports, I don't know what those ports are, but there's very limited ports where they don't want anyone out past a certain time. But most of our ports, there's no curfew.
So as far as you're concerned, it's whatever the port says that we can do. If the port says we're open 24 hours, and you can come back 24 hours. But if the port has a curfew, then during those hours, you can't come back.
Correct.
So Alex, if you miss curfew, you're just going to have to go find something else to do on shore until they reopen the port again, so you can come back. All right, I'm going to turn it, but you were just getting ready to jump into cultural experiences. I'm going to send that back to you.
Awesome. Cool. So one of the 2 cultural events that you will experience, we like to call AzAmazing evenings. Now, this is included, and it's highly recommended that the guests participate, because what we do is we take all the guests off the ship, all 700 people. And if you're sailing through Europe, you're going to go watch the symphony or the opera. Or if you're in Africa, we take you on a guided tour and you walk with the elephants and the giraffes. Or in Spain, we take you to go watch the flamenco show. So it's these local immersion events that we take you to. So it's like an elevated excursion, basically, that's included. So that's the cultural experience. And what we're doing for next year is, because of the pandemic, some business relationships fell off because they went out of business. And so we gained new partnerships within those regions. So some of the 2025 AzAmazing evenings are brand spanking new, and we are so excited to be doing those.
Wow. And I want to make sure everybody heard what you said, because you kind of went through it a little bit fast there, but there's about 700 people on the ship. Everybody comes off the ship and goes and does this thing. They don't, I mean, for a while after the pandemic, you were bringing some cultural experiences onto the ship because that's what you had to do. But they set up basically an excursion, an event for everybody on the ship to get off the ship. Just think about the logistics of this, people. I don't know of another cruise line that even attempts to do this. And you guys do it, what, on every cruise is 7 nights or longer?
Yeah, because we don't really offer short cruises. So basically almost every cruise we offer will have an AzAmazing evening. And I honestly don't know how they do it so seamlessly, because taking 700 people off, but not feeling like you're a sardine in like a little can, it's executed flawlessly.
Wow. So we're going to get our first one. We're on for 16 nights in December. Christmas and New Year's, we're going to be on the journey. So we're going to experience our first AzAmazing evening. I can't wait.
Yay. Now, this second cultural event is our white night party on board, and we go all out for this. So please bring white, because you will be wearing white on one of the nights. And we open up the entire open deck, and there's tables and chairs, and the amount of food that they prepare, and it's a gorgeous setup. Honestly, like it's almost like art, but there's so much food. And then the other side of the ship has an entire dessert station, and the captain comes out. I know the desserts there are they like make this flan something, and it's like a crepe, and they have caramel sauce and ice cream. Then there's all these like petite fours, and it's so good.
Oh God.
Yeah. But the captain comes out, the senior officers come out, and the captain doesn't just stand there and watch. Like, he gets involved and he makes speeches, and he's helping to serve food. And then our captain comes out, and they sing like Mamma Mia, ABBA songs all night long. And it's just like a celebration of life for a few hours during one of the evenings on board.
So really cool for us, because we're on for New Year's Eve. Guess what night is going to be white night, apparently.
That is. Our New Year's Eve white nights go for hours, and they're so much fun.
I'm so excited. I was like, oh my God, we're on for New Year's Eve. I bet that'll be white night. And Rebecca's like, yep, it's going to be white night.
It is. So don't eat that entire day because there's so much food that
You know
night.
how hard that is to do on a ship like yours with all that amazing food?
But seriously though, like, there's so much food that night.
I'll do my best, but I'm not going to promise anything, Sarah.
I love that.
Oh my God.
Another fun fact about us, even though we're a ship, we can actually go down rivers, which is really, really cool. So we dock at city centers, which not a lot of other companies do. So I'll give you this example here. So most ships have to dock in Cadiz, which is basically a 3-hour round trip ride in order to get to the heart of the city, which is Seville. We go down the river and we dock there. So we're giving you back those 3 hours in port rather than driving or taking a train to get there.
Oh my gosh. Like you're going, like you're turning into a river ship there for a little while is what you're doing. Wow.
Basically, yeah.
How do you fit? Aren't there like some narrow bridges in there?
It's tight. We like barely make it through, but we make it.
Captain's like, all right, everybody lean to the left. That's
pretty
amazing.
much, yeah.
I love it.
But going through those like blocks and those bridges, honestly, it's really, really cool. You can basically just reach your hand out and touch the wall.
Wow. And Alex is saying that he visited the city and it's a great city to visit. See, Alex, you just come right off the ship and you just start walking around as if you're on a river ship. That's amazing.
Yep. Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it there.
Amazing. Wow.
And then this is our fleet. We are small, but we are mighty ships here. I'll give you a little history about our vessels. So if you have ever heard of the Renaissance line, we actually bought 4 of their ships. And the other company who bought the other 4 ships is Oceania. So we actually have the same ships as Oceania when it comes to the Renaissance line, but the insides look completely different. We actually put $132 million worth of Botox into our ships because they're older, but they are so beautiful inside.
They're
honestly
beautiful.
They're really beautiful, and the layouts are completely different. So when you step on board, if you have sailed Oceania, our ships do not look the same inside. They do look completely different. Yeah. But with our ships, they're sister ships. So as far as the layout goes, the staterooms on board, they're all going to be identical with the one change of the venue on the Onward compared to the other 3 vessels.
Right. And I'm seeing like they were all refurbished in 2021. So you're talking about Oceania. I mean, the folks who follow me know that I was on the Oceania Serena last year, which is one of the sister ships. And that is one of the things that we're really looking forward to is, you know, seeing the differences between because I love the blue hull on your ship. I think that really stands out. And looking at how your staterooms are appointed and how it's laid out. I mean, they're the same bones, but that's about it. Everything else is just pretty different. So I'm really excited to see that comparison.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to see it too, because I'd like to hear your feedback as well. It's always nice to hear inside feedback.
Now, before you jump into this, I see Cruise Boss actually had a question previously about if you have a favorite AzAmazing evening. Because when you were going through the AzAmazing evenings, he threw the question in there, and I'm just going to pause you right there before we take a look at some of these ridiculous staterooms.
Okay, well,
got to make you all wait to see the rooms because they're beautiful.
Oh, that's really hard. Yeah. Honestly, so when I worked on ships, I actually started my career being a singer, and I was Carnival's lead production singer for 3 years.
Really?
Yeah, anything that deals with a show or entertainment, I love. And so when we were in Spain, it was back in March, and I was selling the Pursuit, and I did see the flamenco show, and it was something that I never really experienced before. So to see a different type of entertainment and the culture and how they were so passionate about it, and they didn't really need any music because they were the ones creating it with the clapping and the stomping of their feet, and it was really incredible to watch.
Wow, that's so cool that you were a singer. Okay, so what was your favorite show to do?
Oh my gosh. So the Carnival Victory, that was my second contract. And I love that ship. So we did a rock and roll show, and it was Vroom. And it was just the funnest, like Elvis Presley and the disco era. And that show was the best show to perform.
Oh, wow. We're all learning something new tonight. That's awesome, Sarah. That's so cool. I worked in television and film. I didn't actually perform, but that's really, really cool. I love that. I did have a brother-in-law though who was on Broadway for years, so
Nice.
there was that little connection.
Yeah.
And since we paused for a moment, I'll just take this little breather to remind everybody that I'm Walter, your independent travel agent, and tonight we are talking with the amazing Sarah from Azamara Cruises, an awesome luxury cruise line. And if we can help you in any way, you just reach out to me, where'swaltertravel.com. There's also links down in the description. We are going to be on the Azamara journey for 16 nights, December 22nd through January 7th. So definitely follow along on all social, because I will be doing my best to not eat too much on New Year's Eve because of that party. But I will eat a lot the rest of the time. I definitely will. So you were, before we jump into anything else, I see we got questions about evenings and stuff like that. Let's take a look at the rooms. And then we'll go ahead and talk about some of the nightlife. That's probably going to lead into something you're going to talk about anyway. So let's go ahead and turn it back to you.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to start at the very top of our categories.
This is not my room, folks. I wanted it to be my room, but it's not my room.
Well, it's probably not your room because you probably booked it too late because we only have 4 of these on board.
See that? I'm going to use that as the excuse, Sarah. Thank you. That's great. I waited too long. Love it.
I think I have a video, a muted video on this. Let me just double check. I do. Perfect. So this video is of the Pursuit. And again, they're all sister ships anyways, but there's a bathroom in the front of the stateroom. And then you have this massive living space. You have a 600 square foot stateroom and then an additional 200 square foot wraparound balcony.
Now, I love the wraparound.
And this view is gorgeous. This is Lisbon, but imagine if you're sailing through Greece or if you're over in Africa. I mean, it's going to be stunning views. So not only that, you have a beautiful separate master bedroom, and that's a king size bed there with a massive wraparound closet, great for those longer voyages. The women can have the majority of the closet space. The hubby can have only one. And then you have a really nice size bathroom, huge shower, and a double vanity. So we're on our ships, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. And then the next level down, there's no video for this one because it's the exact same layout as the owner's suite. It's just 100 feet smaller, and it's the Club Ocean suite. But it still has a large balcony. It still has separate living from the bedroom areas. And again, same layout, just a tad bit smaller. And then we head into my favorite. This is the spa suite. Now, there's only 2 on board every ship. And the reason why they are the most popular is not only is the layout really functional, it's really beautiful. You have a really nice size balcony. The bathrooms were just upgraded, but you get your own personal jacuzzi right outside your bathroom.
Love
it. That's why it's the most popular suites we have.
Wow.
And then our entry-level suites is our Continent Suite. This year's our second most popular because there's a ton of storage space. The layout feels really, really spacious as well. And then if you do need an accessible category with the wider doors, the wider showers, this category does come in that accessible need. But the bathrooms were also just redone, a really nice size shower. And then for our standard rooms, of course, we have interior, we have the ocean views, and then the verandas with the attached balconies. So all the rooms have a really nice feel to them. They're all that lovely homey feel, the warm, neutral colors. So that's basically the theme throughout our ship is the warm, neutral, welcome home feel.
Yeah, those rooms are beautiful. They're actually pretty doggone large. We stayed in an ocean view on the sister ship last time, and we were like, wow, there's like a lot of room in here. And I love the colors that you got. Your color palette's fabulous.
Yeah, I always stay in the verandas, sometimes even ocean views. And I took my sister with me. I took my hubby with me, and there's plenty of space. The balcony is great. The table and the chairs. I mean, we have breakfast and dinner on our balcony sometimes. So it's a really nice feel because you're out in port majority of the time, right? But regardless, the rooms are very spacious.
Wow. Very nice.
All right. And then moving into public spaces, we do have a lot of different lounges on board that have different events going throughout the day and the evening. So the living room, as you can see, a very nice panoramic view. We have a lot of night shows that happen in there, not like the big entertainment shows. We do have a band on board, and we have trivias back there. The den is where a lot of activities happen as well. There's a piano player there, our shore excursion desk, the cruise manager is there. So a lot of activities happen in both the living room and the den. And then as far as the cabaret lounge goes, that's where our production show takes place. Not only do we have production shows, but we like to bring on locals, and they do somewhat of enrichment talks on board, and we have seminars. Nice. Yeah, so it's really cool. That space is basically our entertainment venue.
That's cool. Now that we know, do you ever get the urge to like go up there and like perform with them?
Every time I sail, I am always asked to do karaoke, and it's so weird because I can sing to hundreds of people on stage and be fine, but when it's in like a smaller, more intimate setting, I'm like, I don't know.
Because you can see everybody. You're like, oh, wait, they can all see me.
Close to me. Yeah.
When you're on a big stage with the spotlight, you can't see anything. You know,
exactly.
You're just like, I can't see. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's awesome.
Yeah. Wow. And then the dining options, this is what I'm really excited to talk to y'all about, because even though we're a small ship, we have plenty to eat on board. So I'm going to kind of go from the top of the screen. You're going to see the Mosaic Cafe. That is the coffee bar, and you're never going to wait in line, probably behind one person, if that. The barista will know your order the next day. I kid you not. He will know, or he or she will know your order, and they're so nice. But we have light bites at the Mosaic bar that change throughout the day as well, which is quite nice. The middle picture with the white tablecloth, that is our main dining. That is Discovery. So we serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but there's no set time. So for dinner, for example, dinner starts at 5, ends at 9. So you can come anytime throughout those hours. There's no set dinner time for you. And it's country club casual. So we don't really have formal nights on board. You can dress formal. I love dressing up, but it's not required to dress formal. Country club casual, come as you please and sit where you please as well. If you want to sit by the window, if you want to sit in the middle, completely up to you, which is really nice. And the menu does change every single night. We do not repeat courses. So we have different food.
Nice. Now, do you guys lean into, you know, when your ships are visiting various ports, you kind of lean into like local, and maybe your chefs will go off at a port and go get local things?
Absolutely. That's like the best food to buy is the local food. And I'll tell you, back again, when I was on the ship in France, the chef went out in the last port that we were in, got all these beautiful cheeses and meats, and he set up this basically massive charcuterie table in the living room, and we were eating the local food that he just picked up in port that day. So it was really, really nice.
Love it.
The next picture over in the next up corner is one of our specialties. Now that is Prime Sea. It's our steakhouse on board. So of course we have the best steaks. So we have the Chilean sea bass, escargot, the wine pairings up there. So a really, really nice area to dine. Now, the one below that is called Aquilina. That's our second specialty dining, and that is our Mediterranean-inspired restaurant. So we have a lot of homemade pastas, the lemon souffles, the hazelnut desserts. So really two completely different atmospheres. Now, I will say, the specialty restaurants do come at $50 a person. Those ones aren't included. However, most of our bookings have onboard credit, and that onboard credit can go directly towards specialty.
Yay. Yes, there is onboard credit on pretty much every voyage out there. Most of them.
Yeah. So you're not really spending for specialty because you're just using your onboard credit.
That's
great. And then the bottom middle, that is our Windows Cafe. So that's kind of like our buffet area, but we're not just a standard typical buffet. You're still getting served your food. You can ask for your steak to be cooked a certain way, or your omelets in the morning. So it's a really nice elevated buffet area. My favorite night in Windows Cafe is Indian night, because a lot of the chef's team comes from India. And
Oh,
so
Rebecca's going to go nuts.
yeah,
Rebecca's
the
going to go
Indian
nuts.
cuisine is amazing. So make sure you go up to Windows Cafe when they have Indian cuisine.
Wow. Yes. Okay.
And the second to last area would be the patio. So pool grill by day. At night, we turn it into al fresco dining. So the white tablecloths come out, the servers are there, and you can just enjoy the outdoor area being served your food, which is amazing.
Nice.
And then the last one that's not on here is room service. That's included. So you can order room service, put on your Azamara robe, your Azamara slippers, go onto your balcony, and have room service there. The cheeseburger, no, what is it called? The bacon cheddar burger. Honestly, I ordered that twice and it's so good.
That sounds really, really good. So, since we're here, what would be, so you've got 2 specialty dining. Give me like your favorite dish at each of those 2 restaurants.
Oh, okay. So I just ate at Aquilina and I had the lobster ravioli. And I know that you can get lobster ravioli at a lot of places, but the fact that it was legit homemade pasta in our ship kitchen, it was so good.
Oh my.
So that was my favorite in Aquilina. And then for the steakhouse, what did I get in the steak? I had it back in March. I'm trying to remember what I ordered. Did I have the filet mignon? I think I had the filet mignon, and I asked for it to be cooked medium rare actually, and it came out perfectly cooked, and it was good.
Nice. So do you have a guilty pleasure on the ship too? You got so many things on here.
I know, my guilty, like dessert wise or drink wise.
I don't know, either, but let's talk. How about both? One of each.
Well, I will have prosecco with anything. I feel like prosecco is a perfect match, and so
yeah. You and Rebecca are like sisters right now.
Yeah,
okay.
Prosecco. And then a guilty pleasure for me, man, give me a good fudgy chocolate brownie, and I'm good.
Okay. Yep. We can be friends. That was a good call. All right. Let me see. We got, okay. So Alex asked about the experiences. All right, go ahead. We're going to continue on. Where we sail.
As I mentioned earlier, we are a global brand. So anywhere the water touches, we sail to. So I'm not going to touch on every region because, worldwide. But some prime itineraries that I do want to talk about. We have an 8-night Western Mediterranean. Now, it says new right there because as a cruise company, you always want to be aware of what's happening around the world, right? And we know that the Red Seas has had some issues lately. So we kind of got ahead of that. We got really ahead of it. And we made some adjustments to a few voyages for next year that dealt with the Red Sea. And we just said, nope, don't want to deal with anything. So we took those voyages and we redid them. And we recently, probably about 3 months ago, brought out these voyages here, which took the place of the Red Sea voyages. And so these are beautiful itineraries here. Rome to Barcelona. And as you can see, there's an overnight in Florence, Livorno, Italy. So a beautiful itinerary. You're having some late night departures. You have extended destination days. So this is a really, really amazing itinerary with 1 overnight, 8 ports in 2 different countries.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is absolutely, what's nice about it, so it's a Western Mediterranean, and you might say, well, I've seen that on some other cruise line, but look at A, where they're going, and then B, how long you're staying there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some other ones that I want to highlight. One of our specialty voyages for next year, we're super excited about it, is we are doing a 5-nighter. We don't ever offer 5-night cruises, but this one is pretty incredible. We have partnered up with the Grand Prix, and it's a round trip Barcelona. And if you're interested in joining the Grand Prix, you buy the tickets and we take care of everything else. And the seats are pretty fantastic. So that is one of our specialties for next year.
Very cool. And my sister would be all over this.
Yeah, it'd be great. If I was back on a ship, I would definitely go do that.
Right.
And then my favorite, because I'm Italian, we do Italy intensives, obviously. 2 countries, 2 late nights, 2 overnights. This is a 12-nighter here. You can see that there's, again, an overnight in Florence and then overnight in Venice as well. So this happens in April of next year. But we have multiple Italy intensives and Greece intensives because they're extremely popular with us.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, as you can see right on there, when they say intensive, I mean, that is basically Italy except for one stop.
Yep.
The whole thing. And other cruise lines, you might get a couple of hits on Italy, you get a couple of hits over here, you get a couple of hits over there, but it's rare to find basically the entire cruise is Italy except for that one stop. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. I'm actually going to Italy July of next year and September, so I'm super excited about it.
That's nice.
And then another really unique opportunity we offer is we always get asked, what's hot, what's selling, what's popular? And what's hot is basically what's cold. The cold regions are really, really popular right now. And our ice intensives, I mean, I had a colleague just go on a couple months ago, and he said he's been with Azamara for 9 years. And he said the Iceland intensive was probably the best cruise he ever has had with us.
Wow. I'll agree with you. I am selling more Iceland and Alaska this year than definitely last year. What's cold is very, very hot right now.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I've never been to Iceland. It's on my bucket list, and I'm really hoping to experience this sometime soon.
I want to get over there as well. I want to do the Northern Lights.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And it's funny how you just said Alaska, because we have reintroduced Alaska into our itineraries. So last time we were actually in Alaska was back in 2019. And so Alaska, beautiful. I spent 6 months in Alaska when I was working on ships, and it's a very saturated area. A lot of brands go there. So there was nothing that was special about what we did back in 2019. So that's why we kind of took a little break from it. And now that we're going back in 2026, we're putting the Azamara spin on it, and we're going to places that the other guys honestly don't go to. So we're going to a lot of untouched places such as Haines and Claw Walk and Valdez. And these are the type of itineraries that we're really catering to now for Alaska. And we're also now working on all of our tour partnerships because we're known for immersion, right? We want to have really amazing experiences on land as well within these destinations.
Right. And what I absolutely love, folks, like you're seeing that this is an 11-night cruise. All of your cruises are 10 and 11 nights. There are no 7 nights. They're not coming up and just doing it, just saying, okay, well, we're going to do 7 nights like everybody else does, like every one of their cruises. So they have fewer cruises, but every one of them is either 10 or 11 nights. And I think every one of them is a one-way, right?
Yeah, they're all going to be one way. The ship that's coming down, the Pursuit, I think the crossing is from Japan, and then it crosses over to Alaska. So that would be a really, really cool itinerary.
Folks, the crossing is unbelievable from Japan. I want to say it's like a 23-night or more cruise. But what I absolutely love about this is these are 10 and 11-night cruises. And because they are one way, you don't have that mandatory stop. In Canada, that is a throwaway port on all of those 7 nights. When you go round trip Seattle, they've got to stop in Canada, and it's usually just a token, like 3-hour, 4-hour stop, kind of a throwaway stop. When you do these one ways, you can get to another port, you can get to another glacier, you can get to something else besides just meeting the mandate, because you're going to start or end in Canada. So that's all taken care of. And I absolutely love that you've got all 10s and 11s. These are really nice itineraries.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm hoping to get on one of these cruises when we set sail there. So exciting.
Absolutely. So ooh,
now,
what do you got here?
I know. So I want to touch on some of our partnerships. I know I talked on Perigolf, but of course we can't be known as Destination Immersion if we don't have amazing partnerships. So not only have we partnered with Perigolf, but we partnered with Mikado Safaris for our South Africa itineraries. Yeah, Mikado Safaris, one, they're already known to be such an amazing, reputable operator out there. So they have actually curated tours pre and post our voyages. So you can do up to 6 days, and you can do the safaris, my screen just changed on its own, but you can do this. You can do, what is it called? Victoria Falls, and the experiences that Mikado adds on to our already amazing experience. I mean, just takes it to the next level.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, I'll be honest, I hadn't heard of Mikado until you mentioned him during our lunch a few months ago. And when I looked him up, I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. The guys are amazing. And the fact that it's just basically, it becomes a cruise tour is phenomenal. I love that.
Yeah. I don't know why my screen keeps like changing on me.
It really wants to get to golf. Obviously, it wants to play some golf.
No, I'm like, stop it. But this is golf, right? I've already talked about it earlier. I think I have another slide that you can see some more. No, I don't actually. But I mentioned about it earlier. If you still have questions on it, I will touch on it later. But we're working on our Alaska tour, so more information to come on that.
Oh, so we are going to have cruise tours as well.
We are. Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
Awesome.
And then just some like offers that we're running right now, because it's the holidays. Black Friday is right around the corner. So a lot of amazing perks and promotions are happening. And so I just want everyone to know what's out there and take advantage of what we do have. So right now we have until December 10th, you can get up to $750 onboard credit. And it's basically the sailing windows is all next year, all the voyages next year. So a massive amount of voyages to choose from. You get this perk, but in a couple days time, we are going to be releasing our Black Friday promotion. And I believe it starts on the 19th. And this here, you can save up to $4,000 plus you can get up to $750 onboard credit. So again, that starts on the 19th and will go for about 2 weeks. So those are the promotions that we have in store for everyone. So we're super, super excited about it. And I don't think I have another one. I guess if we can go back to questions then.
Yeah, so we have questions. So I can already tell that my phone is going to be very, very busy come the 19th. So wave season seems to be kicking off with Black Friday this year. If you don't know, if you're kind of new to cruising, there's this thing called wave season. Now with cruising, most of the best deals that you're going to get are at the beginning of like the end of the year into the beginning of the year. It's called wave season. You know, I get it. It's like a wave. And usually it kills us as travel agent because everybody wants to book because they truly are. Some of the best deals are coming out like in the first third of the year. But now this year, y'all look like you want to match it up with Black Friday. We're going to start the wave with Black Friday and move forward. So yeah, there are some incredible deals coming up. So Cruise Boss wants to know, what's your favorite ship in the fleet? Do you have a favorite? Well, you kind of said Onward a little bit, but.
Yeah, I mean, they're all sister vessels. The Onward just having that different lounge would probably make it my favorite. But if the lounge wasn't there, honestly, they are going to have all the same feel inside. So I can't really say I have a favorite ship.
Gotcha. And then a good one here, and I love this too, because this goes back into like that, the Bordeaux thing that you brought up before, but how close do you get to Venice?
So with the water levels, sometimes we're able to make it straight into the heart of Venice. Other times we have to dock a little bit further out. So it just depends on the water levels. But when we're able to, we get right there.
Yeah. And that is, so, you know, people have heard of Trieste and Ravenna, which are where the big guys have to dock. And that's going to be like 2 hours, maybe more than 2 hours away. And I think you're able, like you said, when the water levels are up, you're basically right across the harbor from Venice. You can't actually dock in Venice because we're not allowed to, but there is a dock basically across the harbor. And I think it's a 20-minute taxi ride and you're in. Right? And there's you can take a water ferry across too, I believe.
Exactly.
So yeah, you are right there. So Alex is one of my solo travelers. What a great question. Something that we haven't touched upon yet. How is the solo experience on Azamara?
The solo experience is honestly quite nice. I will say our age demographic on our ships is about 55 and up, and we do have a handful of solo travelers on our ships. And we do offer events throughout the cruise, especially on embarkation day, where it's a meet and greet for solo travelers or other sort of categories, and they get to meet each other. Or sometimes the ship will put a table in the dining room of all the solo travelers, so everyone can like see each other, meet each other, have dinner together. But we do have a handful of solo travelers.
And what about with like solo supplements and things like that? Do you ever do any solo specials for the solo travelers?
Yeah, we do. We offer, it depends on the region and it depends on how long the voyage is. Sometimes the single sup will be 100%. Sometimes it'll be 175%. So it really just depends on the cruise. So we do offer them.
Okay, well, that's good. So we just kind of have to keep an eye on it and see, what all is out there. So with Alaska coming up, what are you most excited about right now? Now, which ship did you say is going on up there? The Pursuit? Pursuit. So what are you most excited about with this big return to Alaska?
I think what's most exciting is going to Haines, going to Klawak, going to Valdez. Not a lot of ships go to those regions, or those ports, I should say. But then also getting back our partnership with the AzAmazing evenings in Alaska and being in port 10 p.m. at night. Again, not a lot of other ships can do that, and we are. So the chances of seeing the Northern Lights over in Alaska for us is a really good possibility.
Going to be longer because you're going to be sitting in port rather than heading back south. And the longer you can stay in the north, the better shot. So we learned actually at one of the cruise events that around the middle of August is when Northern Light season starts in Fairbanks. And so the further north you can be after middle of August, the better chance you have to see them.
Yeah.
So that is a very, very good point. Oh gosh, I'm totally blanking on something I was just going to ask you. I had a great question for you. The nightlife. So, a lot of my clients have been on Princess. They've been on Celebrity. There's a lot of nightlife going on those. You have the big show. You have the venues. And I've tried to tell them that, look, the nightlife is certainly different because you are on a much smaller ship. There will be shows. But I like to describe it as it's a more social experience at night than maybe it is on the bigger ship. It's more of a theater going experience, whereas on your ship, it's much more social. You spend a lot more time talking to your fellow guests. I mean, how would you describe the nightlife on your ships?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have a very good point when you say that. And then besides our production shows, we do have a band that will go into different lounges throughout the cruise, and they'll perform until like really late night hours. So you will always have live music. We do have piano players around the ship as well, and the social aspect. But again, we're in port a lot of the time during the night too. So you're probably not even going to be on the ship that much. You're probably going to be more out in port.
That's a good point too. You may not even be there. So tell everybody. So we touched on that white night, but what is that white night? Because so other cruise lines have white night, and it's just a party. So everybody come out, everybody have dinner, do your thing, and then meet us up on the top deck. But you guys do it completely different. This is a dinner, a party, a show, right?
It is. And another thing that I didn't say that I really love is all of our crew, because we have 400 crew and they're all from around the world, and they all come out holding their country flag, and they walk the catwalk of the open deck, and they all get acknowledged. So the entire ship is out on the open deck towards the end of that event. And it really is a wonderful experience.
That's actually very cool, because we don't very often get to see the people behind the scenes. And I will say, when we've been on the smaller ships, that has been one of my favorite things. It feels like we have more time to get to know, not just, obviously the bartenders, the servers, our room steward, but I'll see people walking by, and even sometimes I'll see them in engineering, uniforms. And they're not, unless there's something like really they got to take care of, but they're not like just so, I got to hurry up. They'll actually stop, and I get a chance to talk to some of these people. And I think it's one of the coolest things about going on a smaller ship. Like you said, you're not rushed. It's more relaxed. I don't think I've ever been that relaxed in my life as when I went on the sister ship last year. I'm really looking forward to 16 days of small ship experience, quieter. It is a quieter experience, but I think it's a very relaxing and a rejuvenating experience.
Yeah, I agree. You don't go home feeling like you need a vacation, right? Because you saw the place that you're sailing within at your own pace, and it's really nice to go at your own pace.
And that is definitely what small ship cruising is, going at your own pace. Good question, Eileen. Is the ship smoke free?
There are designated areas throughout our ship where you can absolutely go and smoke.
Okay, but not inside. You got to go outside, right?
Yeah, not inside. No smoking inside staterooms, lounges. They are outside areas.
And there is one particular thing that many of the cruise ships have that you guys actually don't have on your ship. I personally like it. I like that you dedicated the space to something else, but there is one particular thing that you don't have on any of your 4 ships. What is that?
A casino.
No casinos on board, everybody. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. It didn't make sense though, because if you have a casino, that's obviously money being generated. And when you are in port, gift shops have to be closed, casinos have to be closed. Anything that generates money has to be closed, except for the spa, because they have other licenses to operate in port still. But since we're in port, as you saw, 80% of the time, it did not make sense for us to have a casino on board. So we turned that into a different space.
And I like it because I saw the casino on the other ship last year, and I was like, it's kind of, one, it was small. It's kind of like shoehorned into the corner there. And 2, I was like, this is a beautiful bar. And then it's just kind of this thing. Now you have a beautiful bar. And then you have the shore excursion desk and some other things. But it's more of an open, inviting space. And I love that. I love that. I didn't even think about the fact that you're in port so much that you can't have it open. Now it really makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. That's totally cool. So, folks, we're almost at the end of our hour. If you have any last-minute questions for Sarah or me, again, I am Walter, your independent travel agent. If you'd like to talk about Azamara, if you'd like to talk about any of these itineraries, we are going on the ship on the journey in December. We're going to be on her for 16 nights. I can't wait. It's going to be Christmas and New Year's. I'm telling you, Sarah, I'm sure you can slip on board somehow and just come hang out with us. For some time.
Just go keep me up in Austin and I'll come and join you.
Is that where you're going to be, in Austin?
Yeah.
Keep it weird, right? Is that Austin? Keep it weird, or is that Portland?
I don't know. But we go to Austin every year for Christmas for my hubby's side. So we're flying down for like 10 days.
Oh, that'll be nice. That'll be nice. Wow. Alex wants to know, when are the next batch of itineraries? I think you just released some recently, but do you have another release date coming anytime soon?
Well, since we just released the rest of 2026 and Alaska, because those 2 got released probably less than 2 months ago, we are working on 2027. We're hoping to have that, honestly, probably by come the new year, to have something released for 2027. Wow. But yeah, more to come.
Wow. That is very, very cool. I mean, it's hard to believe, right? We're already booking out to 2027. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, where did the time go? I can't believe I've been doing this for 2 years already. I mean, that's insane.
It's amazing.
I know. for somebody who never thought I was going to do it. Well, Travel Guru, that might be a hard question because, a typical cost of a trip is going to depend on the time of year you're going, the exact itinerary, which stateroom you want to be in, and what promos they're running, because you guys are always running a lot of promos.
Yeah.
I don't even know that I could come up with a typical, because every time somebody asks me that, I'm like, there's really no way to factor that because it can be so different. Do you have anything else to add to that?
I can say at the moment, even though we are entry level luxury and we offer all that what I just talked about, at the moment we are one of the more affordable luxury lines. I will say that.
I'll definitely agree with that. Yeah, you would actually be surprised. Like, if you're used to going on like Celebrity, Princess, Virgin Voyages, some of the, or maybe you've stayed in the Haven or the Retreat on Celebrity, now Sanctuary, Yacht Club on MSC. If you've been staying in some of those places, you will be very surprised that Azamara might be the same price. They might even be a little bit less than what you paid on some of these other cruise lines, but you're going to get a lot more. That's the thing. It's not just about how much does it cost. There's the value too. There's the value add of what you're paying for. Sarah, you showed that slide earlier. It's not an all-inclusive cruise, but it's a lot included when you go on board, including, you know, some drinks. Your the Wi-Fi was not. That's one of the few things, right? Wi-Fi.
That's actually being looked into right now. We're having some test runs going on some ships right now, because the goal is to have that included. We're just trying to make sure that we can get everything done logistically to do that.
And that's smart, because what a lot of people don't realize, like, oh, they got Starlink, they got Starlink. Yeah, but the infrastructure in the ship has to be able to handle everything. So if you guys just suddenly turned on and said, hey, everybody gets Wi-Fi, but your system isn't ready for it.
Yep.
Oh, that'll just be bad.
Yep.
So that's one of the reasons why you charge for it. So not everybody gets it right off the bat. But you know, you're looking at, you got to compare when you book a cruise on a, let's say, a Celebrity Princess, and you book a cruise on Azamara. There's going to be different value propositions in there. And that's one of the things that we educate our clients about. And plus that experience is going to be quite a bit different. That almost one-to-one service experience is unlike anything you've had. I mean, cruise ship crews are why we go back, right? The ships are amazing, and I've never been on a bad cruise. And the crew is just so friendly, so outgoing. But when you get on these smaller ships and they really get to know you, it just changes everything. Like you said, the barista, the second day I was on board with the other ship, he's like, oh yeah, you want a macchiato, right? With oat milk. Yep, I sure do. And the one of my favorite things, the dining captain in the main dining room, we had to wait for a room. You know, when you walk up, we just had to wait for a table. And instead of telling us our table was ready, he came out and grabbed my cappuccino and just let us on into the room. And I'm like, this is so cool. Nice. It's just little things like that. And that's what small ship cruising brings. So it's really hard when somebody said, well, how much does this cost? Well, how much is the value that you're going to get from this? And yes, it might be $1,000 more than this cruise line, or it might be the same price. So it really depends. It's hard to say, because you have another thing that Azamara does. You don't run the same itinerary constantly. You don't run it in a loop. Other cruise lines are going to run their itineraries in a loop. So if you want to take that Barcelona to Athens cruise, you've got like 10 choices over the summer. With Azamara, you might have one or two that they're doing it. So when you say an 8-night, you know, what's a sample 8-night Mediterranean cruise? You have like 15 different 8-night Mediterranean cruises. And something you were saying earlier is that you're starting to look at, you know, maybe we don't want to do 7-night cruises anymore. Maybe we just want to start extending that, right? Is that something you guys are looking into?
Yeah. So starting in 2026, I mean, you can already tell just by looking at the voyages that were released. We will still offer a handful of 7 days, but we're known for the 10, the 12, the 15-day voyages. And so we're shying away from 7 days. Not that we're going to stop offering them, but we're not going to offer as many 7 days.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. Well, Sarah, it has been an hour. It's been a lovely hour talking with you.
Yay.
Oh my gosh. I hope everybody had a good time, folks. I'm going to remind you one last time. I am Walter, your independent travel agent. And if we can help you book your Azamara cruise, if you've got more questions about Azamara, what are the ships like, what's the dining like, and everything like that. If I don't have the answer, Sarah and her team absolutely has the answer. That's why I love bringing our partners on here, because Sarah really is my partner. You know, this is who I get to work with. It is one of the benefits of working with a travel agent. Unfortunately, you don't get access to Sarah. She can't answer everybody's question, but she is my partner in this. And so if you have questions, just reach out. Where's WalterTravel.com. There are links down in the description. Sarah, thank you so much for coming on this evening. This has been lovely.
I loved it so much. It was so much fun. And thank you everyone for spending your time with us and your night.
Thank you, everybody. So have a great evening, and we'll see you Sunday night at 10:30 a.m. on TikTok and YouTube, and then we'll be back here next Thursday night. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.